Thank you, Aaron, and thank you all for coming. And most importantly, I want to thank each and every one of you for being such extraordinary friends to my dad. As I've said, we've had a chance to have a couple of gatherings the last 2 days. I feel like I'm finally getting a credential as a Peace Corps volunteer. But these celebrations have given me a really important chance to be able to say to so many individuals who really loved my dad. I say this because whether you knew him or not, he loved this building, he loved this movement. He would stop at nothing to sit down and have a cup of coffee or Courvoisier or whatever the time of day was with a Peace Corps volunteer, with a returned Peace Corps volunteer. He would go out of his way to seek them out, to hire them, to promote them, to encourage them, to believe in them. And the love and affection and sense of belonging he got back was extraordinary. It was the greatest source of pride in his life, I think, outside of the fact that he somehow convinced Eunice Kennedy to marry him. So I want to thank you all. I want to certainly thank the panelists. C. Payne has already said to me, keep it brief. So I will keep it brief. I think he's trying to get me back because my brother tried to keep him brief at my dad's wake, but I will do so. I'm not going to talk about each of the panelists or all the distinguished folks here, but I do want to just say a few words about Marianne Orlando. Now, Marianne Orlando worked for my dad for, 30 years or so. And I have to say, when I was a kid, Peace Corps was in my house. It wasn't, I guess there was an office building in the early days. But it felt to me like my house was the office of the Peace Corps. And at an early phase, I was confused. I thought Marianne was my mother. There were so many people coming and going. And my mother was very busy and not there a lot of the time. And so I can remember on several occasions grabbing a skirt, and it turned out to be Marianne's at an early. So this hasn't changed, however. I'm upstairs today, and I don't know if it's still down, but my hair has been sticking up all day, and I think it's a leprechaun or a St. Patrick's Day thing. But Marianne walks right up to me. I mean, I am 51. I'm supposed to be reasonably able to put myself together, and she starts grabbing my hair, taking it. Your father would be embarrassed to see you with your hair standing up. So it's just to say, we really all the Shrivers, feel a great sense of family in this room, and a great sense of gratitude to the people who will speak about the Peace Corps momentarily, and most importantly to the people who really cared for my dad and cared about this country at such a profound and personal way. Many people serve in public. We talk about politicians being in public service. We talk about people who give up careers serving in the federal government, state government, local government, being in public service. But I don't think there's a group in the country that better understands the meaning of public service, of really giving of yourself, than the people in this room. It's not just the folks who have decided to forego salary. It's not just the folks who have decided to forego a year or two of their lives. It's people who felt so powerfully about their country and about themselves and about the common bonds of humanity that are so important to the future of this country and to each of us as, I think, human beings, that they were willing to take the big risk. As my dad said early on, this was, we risked everything. We talked about this at the State Department. We risked everything. And I think he meant that each of you, when you really take the leap of faith for the Peace Corps, you have to consciously at some level say, I'm going to risk everything for this. I'm going to put it all on the line. Against all of the evidence to the contrary, I'm going to make a statement that I believe that peace is possible, that it can come human to human, that the American experiment is really most about defining a common space, a public space, a together mission where we transcend barriers of all sorts to believe we can get along and build together much more effectively than we can competitively or in an antagonistic sense. So you all have risked everything for the Peace Corps, just as my dad did. The reputation of the country, the reputation of the president, the reputation of our values. You've gone into the field. You've stood in the village thinking to yourselves, oh my God, what the hell did I get myself into? The reports are clear. There's so many. When I was going to read a story from Coates Redman's wonderful book about my dad being on a trip with McClure, Coleman, Kaufman, and Pritchard, where he was traveling. Should I read it or no? C. Payne, am I done? What? Do I have another minute? I have to ask my elders, Ambassador Vaughn. I thought it was kind of funny, so I'll just read it. So he was on one of these trips, and all of his colleagues there were thinking themselves that he was stopping the car too often, taking too many pictures. I mean, maybe some of you have had this experience with him, and we'll talk about it. Distracting too much from the business of getting on with it. And at one point, finally, Hellawell, I don't know Hellawell, the name, but he's referenced frequently in this account, says to my dad, "Look, Sarge, we're not going to stop anymore. We're not taking any more pictures. We're not greeting any more people. We're going to get in the car. We're going to pull over to the side of the road. We're going to get a meal, and then we're going to move on." So they're out in the middle of nowhere in Tanzania, and they stop, and my dad's persuaded, and he pulls out his binoculars, and he looks out, and he turns to Hellawell and says, "I see this guy walking through the trees. He's terrific. Take a look through my binoculars." He hands Hellawell the binoculars, and Hellawell sees what my dad saw, and he became furious. He saw a tall, strong, stately, and stunning Maasai warrior stalking the territory, bedecked in an elegant robe, dripping with exotic jewelry, carrying a spear that he was using as a walking stick. "I see the guy, Sarge," said Hellawell, "and Sarge, that's all you should do. Just see him. Don't go near him. I can tell by his markings that he's a Maasai warrior. And Sarge, these people are not used to Westerners. They're unpredictable. You leave them alone. You don't mess with them." So McClure recalls feeling a relief that Hellawell had curtailed Shriver's exuberance. And then the group watched helplessly as Shriver, who himself was attired much in the mode of a country club golfer, I don't understand that, strode directly towards the woods and to the Maasai warrior and thrust out his hand and said, "Sarge Shriver, nice to meet you." The Maasai couldn't have understood a word, but he suddenly broke into a big and friendly grin, and he and Sarge were beaming and pumping each other's arms up and down, and both of them were just having a heck of a time. Hellawell cannot believe this. Sarge marches the magnificent ebony warrior over to meet them, and what do you know, Sarge is making formal introductions in English of the Maasai warrior, and hoots to Kaufman, "Hey, Joe, come on, line up, let's take a picture." So there's some of this crazy spirit that says danger is not danger. Risk is not risk. There's too many barriers that we erect in the face of meeting one another, that if we only had the confidence to break them down, we would be much better off. That is the story of the founders of this movement. They took those risks. I'm so proud that my dad played a role, that he attracted such extraordinary people, that even my cousin Joe Kennedy became the first member of our immediate family to become a Peace Corps volunteer. He did get the Dominican Republic. So, I mean, I don't know if we still count the DR as a...
What can I tell you?
But he does carry the mantle of RPCV, and we're proud of him. I'm proud that he came down today to join us, proud of all of you, and grateful to the founders who will school us on what it means to take these risks and to believe in peace. Thank you.